Hello, welcome back to Intuition Nutrition, the mini-series. I'm so pleased to be here speaking with Hanna Boëthius, who is originally Swedish and she's living in Switzerland. Hi, Hanna.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited because you're here. You know, I very rarely speak with people who know how to deal with diabetes, but that is your area of expertise. So for all of you watching, Hanna is a health and wellness coach, and she helps people with type 1 and type 2 diabetes manage their diabetes and also help prevent type 2.
I was diagnosed when I was 2 years old. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes myself.
Wow.
And so having grown up with it, I don't really know anything else.
Right.
But through a long and winding road, as it always is,
yes,
you have to go through a couple of struggles before you really get it, though.
Absolutely.
And so when I had finished my studies, I did a brief little step into the corporate world, realized that it's not really for me, as it was really impacting my health as well, and the diabetes. And I'm like, okay, I can't take the stress. It's too much. Right. So I have to step down and figure out something else to do. And so then I really started thinking about what I wanted to do with my life, and the very existentialist questions that come from time to time. And I realized that the topic that I really know a lot about, because I've had diabetes for so long and had to deal with it for so long, is nutrition. And food, and what impacts what, and all of that in the body. And so I re-educated myself as a nutrition coach. And that was a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago. And since then, I've really, gradually started working more and more with people with diabetes, because I know exactly what it's like to sit there and, have no clue. You're on this roller coaster, treadmill, whatever thing, just going around and round and round and up and down. Yeah. And you have no idea what you can do, because your doctor will not tell you every piece of the puzzle. They will give you, 2 or 3 pieces that don't even make a picture. And then you have to fill in these, missing pieces in between. And that's what I'm helping people with, finding these extra pieces that you need to make the puzzle more complete. Maybe not completely to solve it, because that is a very, very tricky thing, and I don't think I've even gotten there myself yet.
Yeah.
But just to make it a little bit easier, and then make it a little bit clearer of what you have to do to make you feel better, because that is ultimately my goal, to make the people I work with feel a lot better.
And empower them to do it for themselves, right?
Absolutely. And really to give them these tools that I've discovered that work for me and for many others, to really work with them and to give them this knowledge that they won't get from anyone else, really.
Right. I know. I mean, I have been around people, young children who have diabetes, and it is really complicated. Even if they have a pump, an insulin pump, it's complicated to keep up with how many carbs they've had and what do they need now and how's their sugar. And so I imagine that it's got to be this huge science. Now, do you find that many doctors know much about what to have people do as far as nutrition when they're diagnosed with diabetes?
If I can be brutally and
go for it.
Brutally and terribly honest, no.
Yeah,
I don't think so at all. I was told for as long as I listened, which was about 26 years, listened to my doctors and my nutritionists and my nurses and everything. I was told to eat exactly the thing that my body cannot break down, which is carbs.
Oh my God.
Carbs and sugar. I mean, insulin is the hormone that sort of unlocks the cell door to let the energy in, right? And so, because I can't produce that by myself, then I'm basically allergic to carbs and sugar.
Right.
And for 26 years, I was told that with every meal, I have to eat 60% carbs and grains.
Wow.
And as soon as that was really my number one step, which I learned during my education as a nutrition coach, was that, the impact of carbs on your body. And as soon as I cut that out or took that away step by step, slowly, I started noticing a significant improvement in my self-care, really.
What was
so that was the number one thing.
What was the major change that happened when you stopped having so many carbs in your diet?
oh, I could reduce my insulin dosage by 2/3. So I basically took, three times as much as I do today.
Oh my gosh.
And I also saw a much smoother blood sugar level than I did before, because of course I wasn't eating the things that was making it go like this.
Right, and that's a roller coaster ride for your energy level, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's draining. And even now when I have those days where it's just, really high and I can't really, get it to where I know that I'll feel good, it's so draining. It really is.
So how do you help people with diabetes? Do you do one-on-one coaching? Do you have groups?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about
No,
what you
do one-on-one coaching because as diabetes is such an individual disease still, there is no concept that works for everyone. So I prefer to work with my clients one-on-one just to be able to tweak it to their needs and what they need and how their health is progressing.
Right.
Instead of having a group program that has to be quite generalized.
That's true.
It gives me a lot more as well to work with one-on-one clients.
And do you have people that you work with on the internet, via Skype or phone calls?
I only work over the internet.
Oh, so that's crazy. Yeah. You don't need to live in Zurich to be able to see you?
Absolutely not.
That's good news for people in the United States, I'm sure.
For example, yeah.
For example. So I also know of people who have had to have their pancreas removed for one reason or another. So they don't have diabetes, but they no longer can make insulin. Does what you do help them as well?
I've actually never worked with someone because that's still quite rare to have had that done. But I would imagine because you can't produce insulin, it's going to be the same concept, sort of.
Same results.
And yeah, exactly. And so you have to really make sure that you're working with the rest of your body that's working so well.
Correct.
In order to not compensate, but just, balance it out a bit.
Yeah, it's all about balance. So I have a question for you. I know that type 1 diabetes you can't control. I mean, it happens to some people. It doesn't happen to other people. But type 2 diabetes you can somewhat control, correct? You can...
a part of it, a part of the cases, yes. You can prevent it, at least to the best of your abilities. But there's also a part of type 2 diabetics that get it because it's genetic. Okay. And hereditary, and that's why you can't prevent all of them, but some of them. And even if it does happen, type 2 is a lot easier to control because you don't have this extra factor of that type 1s have, that basically we produce no insulin.
Right. Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
As a type 2, you can still produce some insulin of your own. It's just that you can't really. Your body won't recognize it. That's the difference.
Right. Okay. So do you have any advice that you can give to people who are watching who maybe have the genetic background to perhaps contract type 2 diabetes, or some kind of prevention tip for people who are looking at that?
Yeah, follow me. No, in all seriousness, really the number one thing, really watch your carbs. Yeah. That is what carbs and sugar, because that is what's draining your system and sort of not really giving your body a chance to steer away from it.
Do we need to have as many carbs as we eat in general?
I would say no, and I'm living proof.
There you go.
For the past 3 years, I haven't had any grains or carbs, really. I mean, the odd thing, but then I absolutely feel terrible afterwards. So
right, and that'll teach you. That'll learn you.
That makes you stay away for sure.
Exactly. So Hanna, how can people find you if they want to follow you, as you suggested? Because I think that's awesome.
Well, I think the best way to follow me is on my webpage. I have a blog that I write weekly, and you can find me on www.grainbrain.ch. And yeah, so there's updates and how you can work with me and all of the normal things, and you can, just follow my work.
That's awesome. You're so inspiring. And I love that you've taken a personal struggle and turned it into something that you can help others with. So thank you for doing that. And I congratulate you on your amazing English. I can't believe you're a foreigner living in a different country, but speaking English like you've been living here.
Thank you. I take that to heart.
Yes, you should. You should be proud. All right. Well, please do check Hanna out at her website, grainbrain.ch. And thanks for tuning in. This has been a really fun episode. So check back in because we've got more for you for your mind, body, and soul. Take care.